Good evening, everyone. The time is 6:30, April 30th, 2024, Abington Conservation Commission meeting. This is a makeup meeting from last Monday where we didn't have a quorum. First item of business is notice of intent 084-573 10 McHugh Circle, filed by Jason Kennedy, Robert English LLC, to construct a single-family dwelling with a deck, garage, and driveway. A retention wall will also be constructed in the backyard.
Good evening. My name's Sean Hardy, a professional engineer with Hardy & Mann Design Group in Weymouth. This is a proposed residence on the last remaining vacant lot of the Robert English subdivision that was approved, I believe, in 2014. The applicant's proposing a single-family house with a driveway and appurtenant utilities. In addition, as part of the conditions of the subdivision, even though the overall subdivision was designed to reduce runoff for the site, in the order of conditions for the approval was that each individual lot needed to have 150 cubic feet of stormwater storage. So we're proposing two Cultec chambers that provide in excess of the 200 cubic feet to be above that limit. Pretty similar to, we were in a couple months ago for the other three lots.
Yep.
It's generally the same. One, I know there was some comments, and we did revise the plan back. Some things were needed to be clarified as far as some of the topography that was shown. I think that was a photocopy error, that kind of the line work was too light, you couldn't see it. We also added a construction entrance and a stockpile area with silt fence around that stockpile area to be used. The site's kind of confined. There's a drainage easement on this side of it. So we are pretty much pinned up against the setbacks as far as where the house can go. I know there was a comment about the 92 square feet within the 35 no build. That's comprised of a stone retaining wall, stones from the site, just in an effort to try and give that house a backyard. Reason being, these are the approved subdivision plans, so we generally, they showed the proposed houses for each of the lots, so we put it right generally where it was at that time, understanding it's pinned up against the front setback, and without doing something in the back, they'd virtually have no yard. So that was the idea behind that. No real like hardscape or anything, just hoping to have a lawn. To that end, in order to get sort of a, you know, like people are going to want to grill or do whatever, we're showing a proposed deck on the side of the house in order to give them a little bit of an area to be able to do that, understanding that the commission obviously doesn't want hardscape or anything in that back area.
Anybody have any questions?
So what is this? Oh, excuse me.
Keep playing, it might make for a more relaxing
It's
meeting.
calming.
I thought I turned that down. So in terms of this retaining wall, it's not a concrete typical
No.
wall. I mean, I'm just trying to get an idea of what it's going to look like.
What's it, like a
'cause-
bunch of rocks, boulders? Like
Yeah, there's
probably
boulders
1
from
cubic yard?
building the road that are kind of just on site generally in a pile, and, you know, the builder wants to be able to just kind
What's
of.
the height of the wall?
So I got bottom of wall at 167 and top of wall at 171 in the middle, so 3 feet.
Gotcha. I see it.
So not a structural, not needing tiebacks, not needing any of that.
Yeah, so they gotta be rocks roughly, or boulders roughly like a cubic yard,
Right.
a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller.
So is that to make sure people don't go into wetlands or?
Well,
or
no,
what's going
I
on?
mean, we knew the no touch was at 25, so we purposely kept the wall inside of that. One of the comments was from, I don't know who the comments we received, maybe it was a collective, okay, it was you. So we did show, in addition, the conservation markers saying, do not go there. We were just trying to, we knew it was no build, so the house had to be outside the 35. The no touch, we knew you really can't go in there. We were hoping, like I said, just to be able to have some sort of a yard. It's not very big. It's less than 10 feet, but it's something that a father and son can throw a baseball, you know, something like that. And fully understanding that you guys had, the regulation has changed since then, but, you know.
No, and that's my, when I was looking at it, I said, this subdivision was approved
Right.
before any of the regulations
Yeah.
went into place where,
There's a
Now-
weird little note under that table, and it's like almost saying that, but it doesn't
Yeah.
quite say that, so that's what we knew if we came in here with a brand-new subdivision, this would be different.
then you know,
Right.
you already
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
beforehand how to design everything based on the regulations, whereas this one was done before you had that luxury.
Yes.
Are you using soil from the property to fill in where the wall is, or is it, are you bringing in outside fill?
Is there a soil stockpile that you can use?
We would be using soil from the site with the exception of loam. We'd probably bring something in.
That's Jason Kennedy, the owner and the developer.
Got it.
Anybody else have any questions before I open it to the public? All right, I'll open it to the public. Anybody have any questions? Can you just get up and state your name and address, please?
Hi, my name is Jack Butkus. I'm at 33 Grants Place. I just have a question as to where this retention area is going to go for the water on the runoff. I can't see the plan from sitting back there, so.
Could you turn it so that people can see it?
Yeah, I was told to face it towards the camera.
Oh,
but I-
sure,
I- yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, totally
So-
understand.
The house is here, and the roof leaders are being directed into two chambers, they're under the ground, so.
Across the road?
No, the house is right here, and right, just two underground chambers right there, you won't even see them, they'll be under the yard.
So which way is the water going to filter out? It's going to go down?
Should filter
towards
out
Grants
back,
Place?
should filter out away from Grant Place,
Yeah, it's
down
gonna go down.
to the back corner of the property,
With
just
all
looking
the
at the
wetlands.
topography.
And it's really wet back there. I mean,
Into this big.
my name's Stephen Geddes, and we live right behind it.
Yep,
And our backyard is.
Do you want to go to the podium?
There's- Yeah, I'm sorry. There is a lot of standing water in the woods, and this is a very wet area. And, I mean, there's a lot of animals habitat, and I don't know the effect of putting in a wall, pushing water towards us. Has anybody done a neighborhood impact analysis? Have you done impact, environmental analysis on neighboring houses? How it would affect everybody else? Because once something happens, there's a reaction. You do something, there's a.
Where is your house?
30 Grants Place.
Okay, on the other side of the road.
Yeah. We're a very short walk, very short walk away. I mean, get in the parking lot. We just bought the house 2 years ago. It's been getting wetter there. We've got mold on our grass or mildew. I'm not sure what it is on our backyard. I mean, it's very wet. That's a very wet area. And anything here is making it worse. That's going to be terrible.
Yeah, I don't think that's the.
Do you want to get up and
Yeah, sure.
speak to that? Sure.
Yeah, but it'd be nice if I could show them the plan, but that's not the intent.
Yeah.
The water naturally flows under the culvert that we have in the road that was approved with the original McHugh Circle Crabtree subdivision. We're not changing that water flow. What we're doing is any water that goes on our house into our gutters, we're controlling that water. So there's not more outflow. You're talking, your property doesn't even actually abut our property, right? Where are you? Because we're here, And where's your property?
We're right,
No, you're not right
at the
next
end
to
of
us.
Grants.
Yeah.
But you're not right next to us.
Okay.
There's a parcel next to us being developed.
Right.
That is not where they are. In fact, we would not be increasing any water to your area. This lot's already here and the road's here.
My yard is beginning wetter. The last year, way wetter than the first year we moved in. I mean, we're accumulating more water, and those woods are getting wetter.
Right, but you might want to put in a system to control your gutter runoff. Do you have one of those? Because that's what we have to do on new houses.
It's not coming from there, it's coming from the street. We have an easement on one side, we have water in the middle. I don't know.
But
It's a swampy area. If you're gonna make it worse, that's
No,
not a good
it's
thing.
not. So the roof runoff is gonna be collected, and it's gonna go into these chambers, that's gonna just put it into the ground. But generally, the water flows, there's a wetland culvert that's over here, that goes under Robert English here, and over here, there's another drain system, so it goes the opposite way.
Can I see the study you did that shows no impact to the neighbor, to
The
the
subdivision,
neighborhood?
the subdivision was approved in 2015, and it was,
10 years ago.
but it was built per that standard.
You guarantee us that it will have no impact on our yard? I mean, I know you're saying.
I'm just saying, you guys are asking a pretty blanket question.
Okay, I know.
We are not increasing runoff to your property. By the way, you haven't ever proved, have you hired an engineer to prove that water comes?
No, have you? You're doing the work, have you?
Well, yeah,
This is my
they've actually, they've
engineer.
been.
Can you see the stuff?
Can we see
All
the
right,
results?
can you guys, let me speak.
Yeah.
This is,
This is for one lot.
drainage is a planning board issue. They've been, I mean, Jason, you want to get up and just
Yeah, sure.
speak on the steps you've taken to get to where we are today?
Yeah, we've been in front of the planning board, and we've hired Sean Hardy to complete all the calculations. When we bought the project, we had to prove that we weren't increasing runoff, and the state in January of 2023, I'm sure you did your research and know this, changed the stormwater regulations. So it went from it's an atlas.
It was extreme weather atlas, so the height of the 100-year storm increased by like 2 inches plus, and so then we had to recalculate for the subdivision under the planning board that new higher storm would still reduce runoff leaving the site, and we proved that, and so that was reviewed by the planning board and approved as well.
So after we purchased the property, we had to increase the approved water to show that there was less running off the site than there was before.
And that all went through.
All of this is on
So now you
record.
got new water that you.
No, this all went through,
Right.
again, let me speak. This all went through planning. We're the last step. They had to go through planning, who does all the stormwater calculations to make sure everything is in compliance. Once they get that, then they come to us. And they've done all that.
And the overall, so the drainage calculations for the subdivision were done, and you saw the plan, the houses were included and the driveways were included, and it was determined that that was going to reduce runoff. But then the additional condition of, we also want you to put a minimum of 150 cubic feet of storage on each individual lot to make it even better. And instead of the 150, we're doing 2 chambers, and we're over 200 cubic feet. So we're above that was required, even though the subdivision's drainage system was going to reduce runoff.
Correct.
And the slope of the lot will have that water runoff behind the house, right?
Right, generally, so obviously there's a wetland, so
Yeah.
it's going to be there. And then as you head on, there's a culvert under the road that moves it to another set of wetlands over there.
Okay.
So to build the subdivision, there was a wetland crossing that that had to happen, and there was a culvert. So the intent is that that watershed's not going to change, it's going to go that way. But the drainage systems that have been installed were designed to hold it back and let it out slower so that you're not having downstream impacts.
I mean, so theoretically, just looking at the elevations and the plans, that water's gonna be coming back more towards where the track is, over here. Not going towards Grant Place or towards,
Right.
right.
You can see it down in the locus, so
Yep.
it crosses here and it's going to make its way.
Yep. Anybody else have any questions in the audience? All right, and I'll bring it back to the board. Anybody else have any questions? Someone like to make a motion?
Where's the, make a motion to approve the notice of intent 84-57310 EQ Circle filed by Jason Kennedy, Robert English, LLC, to construct a single-family dwelling with a deck, garage, and driveway. Retention wall will also be constructed in the backyard as per the plan submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. We'll do the order of conditions after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So 1065 that.
One down. All right, next up, notice of intent, 084571, 1065 Bedford Street. They've asked to be continued to the May 24th meeting. Somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion to continue 874-571 to the next meeting, May 14th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Next up, Dependable Tree Service, 837 Randolph Street, discussion on restoration in the buffer zone.
I didn't touch it. Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have one?
Good evening. Everyone has a plan, I hope.
Sorry.
My name is Brian Donahoe from Golden Environmental Consulting. The last time we met was in November, and we decided that we would go back, you decided that we would go back to the site and do an existing conditions plan, point out the wetland boundaries, all the features that are there, and so we'd have a discussion. At this point, in that period of time, Mr. Oliveira has done some additional work that you had asked him. So we have silt fence around the entire site. There's been some additional grading to flatten things out. He's moved.
Excuse me, I'm going to step down on this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, where was it? So he's done that work. The mulch piles that he's had has been graded. Actually, he's done a great job at absorbing any water that might have run off, and done a number of other things. The only thing I would recommend going forward after we have a discussion is there's a small area out towards Route 139 that tends to puddle a little bit. This site drains very well, and I think the last time we were here, I showed you the official soil plans and the wetland boundaries that it depicted, which are very closely aligned with what I found in the field. But that's the only other recommendation I would make, just to keep that puddle area where there's a lot of organic material built up and it doesn't filter down into the material that's below it. But I'll leave it right there. I don't know if you have any questions or how do you want to walk through the plan?
Did you get my email about the soil data, the DEP data form?
I saw that late on the weekend, but I had already submitted all the soil information at the last meeting.
Okay.
And I went through that, the details. This site, Nick, just to remind you, the site is a very interesting kind of soil that's characteristic through here all the way up into Braintree, actually. We're at the top of the watershed, but it's a very mineral soil, very fine mineral soil. It sort of permeates very well, but a little slow. So you don't see anything ponding on the site, but right off the site, you'll see on the plan, there's a lot of these braided streams, very small braided streams. And the only way you can actually depict them is a slight topography. And I've been up there in the rain several times to actually see them, but within a day or two, they're gone, even with 3 or 4 inches of rain, which is, not unusual around here, but if they were mucky or different kind of soil, they would pond, braided streams will go for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks at the top of a watershed, but this isn't like that. But there's small little pockets of organic soil that sit in these low areas, which make it hold water a little bit longer, but the stream itself stops flowing. There's one that comes behind the cemetery,
Yeah, I see the sun.
and it's an elevation that's about 6 feet below the site itself, and that's pretty close to where we know the high groundwater table actually is. It's about 8 feet down. We've documented that in the goldfish pond that's there. There's a ditch that Mr. Makowitz had put in decades ago. I think he put a ditch in that goes off to the northeast.
That ditch goes under 139?
It's the one that goes under 139.
Right, because above that ditch and where the pond area is, above there is where the wetland is.
Right.
So it all is hydrologically connected.
Oh, it is, yep.
Okay, so my question, I don't mean to,
Oh, go
I'll
ahead.
let you finish your thoughts with her as far as the soils go. But I think I brought up at the last meeting when you were before us, why did that parking lot expand closer to the ditch, the pond, and the wetlands? It makes no sense to me. When we went out there, Lynn and I, back in April or May, whatever, all of a sudden the parking lot is huge. And it's right up against the pond. That's not really beneficial to a hydrological connected wetlands and a pond and a ditch that flows under 139 and goes over to the other side of the street.
Well, from what I can tell from, again, my past experience there, he squared off with the milled material to square off that edge of along where the ditch is, where the stream is. It's in a rock created bank, basically. It goes way back into the goldfish pond and continues up to the northeast.
I understand what you're saying, but when we first went to the site for the first complaint, there was one narrow road to get in. Now all of a sudden there's a big, huge parking lot. That parking lot up against that ditch and that pond was not there when we got the first complaint. That was filled after.
Can you just get up and...
Do you want to get up and identify? Thank you. I mean, to me, that's detrimental to the connection.
Hi, my name is Wagner Oliveira. I'm the owner of 837 Randolph Street. You're right. When you guys first went there, we got led to believe that where the cars were being parked after the greenhouse there to the right was not okay. But before the pond, closer to 139, was fine to do that.
I don't think any one of us addressed that as
He
far-
didn't.
Okay.
So basically, what I can tell you guys is, we can, and me and Brian talked about that. I don't want to have that area all opened up the way it is anyways. If you guys want, I can remove that, base material that we have there and go back into grass, if that helps the situation. I really don't need all that space there.
Well, Mr. Donrow is a wetland specialist, so I think he understands the point I'm making. You have a wetland up here, then you have the pond, then you have the ditch goes under 139,
Right.
crosses over to your property across the street.
Well, there, I'll leave it up to him to explain to you
Right,
guys.
but I'm just saying, I'm trying to show that there's a hydrological connection there.
Right.
So,
I'm
and-
just saying what I
yeah.
did and what I can undo if you guys wish.
Yeah.
That's not the issue, you know what I mean?
He's
So
saying
I'll leave it
that
up to
we
you.
would go back and then we could.
Right,
tell
it's
him
just
to
that
restore.
where would the parking then be situated?
He's saying he doesn't need all the parking.
Okay,
right? You said you didn't need
Yeah,
all
I
the
mean,
parking.
we can be
Yeah.
far,
I think that would be a
further
very,
away from where the drainage goes.
yeah.
Yeah, I looked at some area of photography that's older, and it looked like what is encroached, as we just talked about, is something like between 15 and 20 feet maybe, along maybe an 80-foot long strip.
Yeah, I mean, because actually, if you look at the site and you look at Mass Mapper, I mean, that whole site is just surrounded by wetlands.
It is, yeah.
So, I mean, no matter which way you go, you're still gonna be a business, you're gonna be within our
100-foot.
100-foot buffer.
Yeah, there's
Just
no
drive-
dispute about being
Right.
within the buffer.
So I'm just trying to put it back to what it was would be a really good thing.
Okay.
I got no problem with that. I mean, you can tell me, or you guys can allow me, or tell me, all right, you gotta be 20 feet from there, or whatever, just give us, what you guys think is right. I mean, I wanna do things right.
No, and I appreciate that, I really, really do, but it's just that I had mentioned it at the last meeting
Oh,
about,
okay.
that was one of my biggest concerns, and I think you were traveling out of state,
Yeah, out of
Right.
country.
out of country, so.
Excuse me, I'm nervous. I'm not used to this, you know what I mean?
I know.
I literally, I myself try to do things by the book always.
Thank you.
And when you guys went there, and we spent it that area because I got a call saying, listen, we can't park up there no more. So, but they said that from the pond down, it's okay because it's just a drainage area.
Well-
They didn't know what they were telling me. I mean, it was my
Yeah.
manager.
Yeah,
So they were like, so can we build a parking area there? Because it was grass, and they
Yeah.
were parking there, and cars were getting stuck, sinking into the mud.
right,
So we threw that, gravel there, what do you call it, processed asphalt there.
yes.
And then you guys went back, and I realized that, okay, I don't think this is
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
where you have that little Quonset hut building and that shed, I mean, you could have put a parking lot over on that side, I guess, but.
Yeah, so on that end, I'm willing to work with you guys with whatever you guys need on that area that I noticed that it bothered you guys and it bothered Christina too.
Yeah.
I just did what I thought was right then.
Yeah.
I'm willing to turn that back into grass,
Yeah.
and if you guys can just leave enough room for me to maybe park there further away from the little stream, or if I can, maybe I don't know, plant some
See-
arborvitaes or something like
Well, see where
that.
that little shed is? I mean, I don't know how important that shed is. but-
To the cemetery side,
Yeah,
yeah, that is where Brian was talking about maybe putting the,
Yeah, please
Yeah,
show you.
because this is all, this was not there before. If you come over this way,
Right about this road here.
yeah,
So if you come in, right over here's where the ponding is.
Right.
We move this back like 20 feet and move the parking over here. There's grass right up against the stone wall.
right, because, I mean, when we first pulled in, there was one road in.
Yeah.
All this was like crazy.
Well,
We
that's
went
what
back.
should come back like 20 feet this way, and kind of bring it over, because this was all, like, this was all connected. That would be, and then the parking would be on this side instead.
it was always open, it
Yeah,
just
and-
didn't have that material there,
No, I
I
and I
can turn
remember.
back into grass or
Right.
whatever you guys think is necessary. Just give me some room there to work.
Yeah,
I'll sit down.
So when, Brian, and looking up at, let's see, flags 22, 28,
Yep.
I noticed there's like, a log pile by flag 22. There's some other piles by 28. Were you able to get soil closer in? Like, do you check this area around there?
Everywhere that I have a flag, that you cannot get an auger into this material. And the pictures I think I gave you in November, it's, actually I have one here to show you. I found another one. The only way I can get a soil sample, this is over there. This is a tree that's fallen over, pine tree. It's all, these are rocks. They're cemented together, they're touching one another. There's no space between them. I'd break my shoulder, which I've done already twice, and I'm not gonna do it again, getting through there. But this is a huge pine tree, and even the pine tree couldn't get, this is out of the wetland, but it's the same soil right at the edge. It's a very tight mineral soil. When you go into the wetland, I found another tree that's very similar. So there's no real hydrologic, soil modeling kind of issue. You don't see anything like that, but this is all you get. If you look, that's why if you go to the official soil plans, they will show you that, and it's, the line that I flag is almost right on the same line. It deviates a little bit.
Okay. So it wasn't an issue of, you got a log pile here, so
No.
you weren't able to get,
And the topography comes up too, the natural topography comes up pretty stiff right.
okay.
174.
Yeah, so see, there's a little bit of an inlet like
Yeah.
this, But this comes up, there's probably 3 or 4 feet of difference, natural elevation to where the line.
Well, it says here it's 178, and then it goes to 174 in the
Yeah,
back.
right, exactly. So it drops right down. This is, again, I think, the beginning of a little, like this one, a little almost spring. It just comes out and then starts to go this direction towards Weymouth. And then this one is the same, it joins this, they don't see any stream here, but this graded stream.
He didn't have the map either, so I'm sorry, I was hogging it. So this is where we are.
So this graded stream starts up here and continues, and then it gets into like 3 channels, and then it goes back, and it just disappears over here to, there's a much larger wooded swamp over here, that's the upland of Great Pond.
Right, right. So there's the braided stream here, and here's the drainage.
This flows this way, this
Yeah.
flows this way.
Yeah.
And this actually, because Mr. Markowitz, I think, dug this out, this probably went that way and this way at the same point.
Yep.
And this only goes up a little bit farther and it stops behind these houses. And just to go to the species from that point of view, it's very clear. White pine is an edge of witch hazel. So you back up, and then immediately it's into red maple swamp. And so it's very simple to make that line. And down here, in the ditch we just talked about, there's white ash, which are wetland, in fact, wet plants, but they're almost all been dead. They're all been emerald borer. They're all
Yeah, well, I mean, that's,
they're all gone. And but taking over is crabapple and other, upland species, so it's kind of interesting that way.
it is kind of interesting. It finds a little upland.
There's
and
2
just kind of
American
goes.
elm that are dead in there too. So there was a wetland type boundary, whatever that was in the past, but those trees are dead. So for the idea is to come back and just, with a plan to show pulling it back, that's what we'll do.
And what else did you write?
Feet are they encroaching?
So closest is 15, 16 feet?
I mean, we do have the no disturbs.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that needs to be taken into consideration.
Which is 35, right? Commercial?
From 22 to
35
11.
for no disturb for commercial, yeah.
Right.
The
So,
leaf pile is good.
but the log pile,
Log pile, yeah,
that's really close.
it's, I would say most of it is probably about 2/3 of it is in the, not 2/3, but 2/3 of the land.
So, in that.
They can shift it over.
Exactly, that's just what I was just gonna say, instead of having it here, because of the
Shift it over 15
no
feet.
disturb. This has
So
to go
is a
this
log
way and away
pile
from here,
considered
because
to
of your
be
wetland
a
line.
structure? Because we would have a 50-foot buffer for no.
I would
build.
say, no, it's not a structure.
So then what
Jason,
would-
you're the building commissioner. Would a log pile be considered a structure?
Accessory structure? Unfortunately not under us.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it's not an example we have in our regulations about a structure.
So I would say it's not.
Yeah. Um, You have the mulch loading area. Is that where mulch is stored, or?
I'll let you speak to that.
No, it's just wood,
I mean, they're out of the no-go region for that.
it's just wood chips that we dump and then we send it out every week, especially after you guys throw this out to let the fire get so high.
Yeah, yeah.
The good news there is that the mulch that's there is like 2 feet thick. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better erosion control.
Yeah.
I mean, if you went to somebody and said, put 2 feet of mulch, they'd say, get out of here. But I just watched it raining, like 2 inches of rain, and it didn't go anywhere. It just stuck right into the material.
So where exactly is the parking area, and where is it gonna be?
It'd be between the stone wall on the opposite side of the ditch we just talked about with the stream in it, the intermittent stream.
Yep.
It's So the opposite side
the
against
shed
that
is?
stone wall?
Behind where that shed and canopy are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jason, I'll ask you this question. Is there an issue with that? Because we can't tell people where to put a parking lot. So is there an issue with the parking lot being in that area? You want to look at the plans and see?
You want to see the plan?
Yeah, mine.
So this is the.
This is Jason Harris, the building commissioner,
This
just
is
so
where the,
everybody knows.
You talked about the liquidity is just so long. Yes, this is like a grass area. Yeah. So we move this back into there.
How about you just open something?
Yeah.
I just don't want to approve something, then residents complain that,
Yeah. You wouldn't mind, it's gonna. Close to this one. Yeah, can you point that out where she is?
She's in there. This is her house. Okay. There, and then over here, it's what's that? That's the,
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, so you drive in here,
It's
there's
here.
a little road,
Right, push it over.
and then this was all like grass and shrubbery.
Yeah, sure, so that would be allowed.
Yeah.
okay.
And then it filled with the property.
Thank you.
And then a big parking lot over here right next to
And the other thing that we talked about is
the wetlands.
moving that back, setting up basically a nice wooden guardrail type fence low, just, that would be marked the location, this 20-foot setback. So you'd see it and you'd know where it was. And it would keep anything from going into the wetland area.
Neither that, or if I could, do like an arborvitae hedge all the way across so it can block view and it might help with the curb appeal. Where he's talking about the guardrail.
Well, we've done that. We did something similar, we're on arborvitae's, but I think the red maples down, that landscaper down on, across from the car dealership. The one
Oh,
that-
yeah,
The one that
yeah.
planted the burning bushes at first?
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So arborvitae, like, probably like 5 or 6 feet on center, let them fill in.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll get a planting plan as far as just showing us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is just get a plan with what we discussed, where stuff's gonna go, and then we can look at it at our next meeting or whenever you have it ready. And
Okay, that'll be simple.
So did you talk about the log pile?
Yeah, that's the thing. So anything that is within 35 feet of a wetland, that's going to be a no disturb.
Okay?
So we have to talk about,
we should put some sort of, maybe even put some plantings there or the fence over there, that way
yeah.
we know what the limits are.
So I'll mark it onto the plan that I bring back with you, showing you the 35-foot no disturb. That'll be the limits of the parking lot with the arborvitae in between or whatever.
And the log pile.
Yeah, here by flag
22,
22, that log pile's gonna shift over more in this way. and
probably tie
away
it into the other log pile.
Yeah,
and be-
see the little log pile across the way, that big log pile's gonna move over, because that's right in the 35 no disturb.
Okay?
So in those areas where things need to get shifted over, we should have some sort of restoration plan. You know, tell us what kind of, are you gonna put red maples or, what kind of things you're gonna put in those areas.
Well, that would be upland type? I mean, we could put red maples there, but
Yeah, I mean, what you would put facultative species, upland species, and whatever would be good for a buffer.
Always been. You can see on Google Earth since 1989, I think.
Has it been,
Huh?
you're saying that there's a Google Earth image from 1988?
yeah, this has been altered for
Oh,
decades.
and I'm sure it has, it's just that, I mean,
Going forward, we want to make sure that there's no other impact.
right.
Yeah, well, that's only moving the pile a very small amount. Yeah.
Yeah, so just plantings there to make up that buffer, and I think, was that already 35?
You good there?
And then, I think because it slopes down here, do we want to keep some sort of silt sock and silt fence up to prevent erosion down into the wetlands?
Where are you looking?
I'm looking at flag 1 and 2.
1 and 2? Is that 1 and 2? Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember.
Oh,
it
yeah,
just
that's
kinda
where the
goes like-
plastic things were to stop with.
That's correct.
Yeah. Kind of just goes like this a
Yeah,
little bit.
we'd really kind of want to,
That's about 35 or more feet now. If you want to put something that's more,
no, is it, I'm sorry, what?
I'm just thinking about erosion control for that area,
we
since
take
you're
a
going to
look
be
at that. Again, that had
working.
all that mulch material that was not really soil there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you had all this mulch in that area.
I mean, that would
And,
be, again, that, I think that's pretty good. That's the best erosion control you'd have.
Okay.
It's, to try to put grass seed on the mulch would be difficult. We'd have to pull it off and then
Yeah,
put something else. I mean, if you just left it there and,
eventually it will decay and then
yeah, it'll turn
eventually
into
it'll
weed.
take over.
Actually, there are weeds getting in there now, so.
Weeds in there now.
We could put a natural weed mix. That's easy to do. Because that would probably take hold into, the mulch is decayed a bit now. It's just starting a little strip along.
This sapling growing underground.
Yeah, this- Weeds are great for filling and things like that anyways.
It is.
I also want to put up some sort of indicator, this is the 35-foot buffer
Right.
in places to make sure there's no accidental encroachment.
Well, maybe we could do the arbor vitae there too, a few there.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys.
I mean, that would be, that's something that planted and it's, the only problem with arbor vitae is deer. Seem to have found that they like it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are there other species that could get planted instead?
What did we have them do over at Brockton Ave? 'Cause remember they had the issue
I think
with
there
the-
was a deer resistant,
There's a
Ish.
deer-resistant arborvitae.
Ish. They're not-
For
yeah, but they also just
for
did,
privacy.
they did a lot of red maple. I think they did red maple and I think they did, help me out here.
He wasn't on the board, I was thinking to help you out.
You could
They
put
did
blueberry.
high bush blueberry and they did, what's the other one I'm thinking of?
Well, there's a stone wall there, right?
Yeah, no, we're thinking on the other side over here.
It's a little bit uphill of that we're
Yeah.
talking about, just the 35-foot no-touch zone they have. Blueberries do work.
The arborvitae one would be good because there's a lot of shade.
Yeah, there's more shade too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, anything.
We'll come back with something
you
that's
guys can-
deer
Yeah, I
resistant.
mean,
Back with something.
you would know better than I would what inventory is available and what
I'm
would be
beginning to hate
resistant.
deer.
Sorry?
I'm beginning to hate deer. They eat everything. I live in my property for 37 years. They never touched the rhododendron until 5 years ago. Now, there's not a leaf from here down on these giant rhododendrons.
Cedar, do they eat cedar? I don't think they touch cedar, do they?
No, this is rhododendrons. It's
No, I know,
cedar.
but
Well,
I'm
they-
thinking,
I have false cypress that looks like cypress, looks like
Yeah.
Andromeda,
yeah.
and they don't touch that yet. I just think they haven't found the right
Andromeda
deer.
is
The
really
right deer
pretty.
haven't come into that group yet
Yeah.
to say, oh, this is good too.
Yeah,
We have.
But we'll come up with something that's,
okay,
you know,
all right.
but it's basically around flags 1 and 2, flag 22, and then pulling back the driveway
Yep,
parking lot. And
relocating it to the other side, yeah.
okay,
And you want to make sure you're,
You've been driving this one.
yeah.
Okay.
Was there anything else?
So to be official, we probably should have a notice of intent
okay.
for this. And that way we can, you can give us a plan for all the plantings you want to do, where you want things to go, where the sign should be, et cetera, and then we can give you order of conditions
Okay.
and okay.
I'll get that to you as soon as we can.
Okay,
Thank you.
Use this plan, we'll just mark this up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oliver.
Thank you.
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, you're gonna continue this till the next meeting, or do you need 2 weeks, or, I mean, I don't know what the meeting is.
We don't have to.
All right,
Notice of
we're just
intent,
gonna,
so-
all right, okay.
All right, next up, Hanson Tree, 832 Randolph Street, discussion on restoration in the buffer zone. So they were supposed to be at our last meeting on Monday last week. I informed them that night that it was going to be continued to today. I haven't heard back from Hancock. I'm just going to read the email that he had sent me before the last meeting. Hancock Associates did the wetland delineation under favorable conditions last fall, and we provided Hanson with an existing plan detailing the wetlands and extent of encroachment within the wetlands and associated buffer zones. I did find some areas where there were buried hydric soils where some of their work has encroached. I am working to coordinate with Chris Reed to present this Monday, last Monday, in discussion of corrective actions and restoration necessary to bring the site back into compliance. My thought is to remove and restore all disturbances within the wetland, then create an earthen berm perimeter to be planted and seeded with native species to serve as a permanent barrier between the limits of work within the yard and wetland resource areas. I will provide an update once I have the opportunity to talk to Chris. So, since nobody is here from that property, I say we should give them until our next meeting, and if they don't show up at the next meeting, issue them an enforcement order.
I agree.
Anybody else have anything they want to add?
No.
All right, then we will continue that to the, somebody want to make a motion to continue this to the May 14th meeting?
I'll make a motion to continue the discussion about complaint at Hanson Tree, 32 Randolph Street, till our next meeting on May 14th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, next up, enforcement order 1212 Bedford Street and/or 3 Highland Road. So I spoke with Mr. DeAndrea's attorney late this afternoon. Lynn had sent him the timeline, which I think everybody's got a copy of here, of events from
1979.
1979
Wow.
until
2019.
2019, well, in present, now that he has an
Not
enforcement order.
including this year.
So he was asking if he could continue into the May 28th meeting, because he's not going to be around on the 14th. So he had time to digest all the information. And I said, as long as Mr. DeAndrea is okay with it, since he has the enforcement order on him, and I had no problem with him waiting. And if there's any other information that you have that's not in this timeline that you sent to them, I told them we'd get it to them, that way they can, when they come on the 28th, they have all the information we have, and they've had time to review it and go from there.
The only thing that's not on there are all the site plans, right? Wetlands delineation plan that was done in 2014.
Is that something you can scan and send to them?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've already scanned it for my
Okay.
PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
But I don't know if we want to do that tonight to familiarize the board with the history.
Why don't we leave it on the agenda for next meeting? Everybody's got the timeline, they can review it, and if we think we need to look at it on the 14th, we can look at it on the 14th.
I think a visual would be good on the next meeting, because that way everybody at home and the people.
Well, we're gonna look at it on the 28th too, so
Yeah, yeah.
we don't want to lot.
Yep, okay,
If somebody has questions, then we can do it. If not, we'll wait till the 28th.
okay.
So you want it on the 14th for the board?
We'll keep it on the agenda, and
Okay.
then,
Yeah, just in case the board has any questions after we review everything.
Yeah.
It would be better that we were familiar with it before the 28th.
Thank you, Lenny, for doing this.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, the reason I made a PowerPoint isn't because I'm a total nerd, I kind of am, but it's also because it's so complicated, it's so convoluted. I already had 9 pages of a timeline, not including everything, and it just seemed a lot easier to just show everybody the plans at the same time. There's, little notes that are expanded upon in the timeline that I gave you so that you can see, but also there are things like, there's a 2014 RDA, and it's very hard to see, like, where they wanted to put a 12-inch pipe and but once you start overlaying stuff and putting it all together in a PowerPoint, it's a lot easier to go, oh, okay, this is where they wanted to do it and what happened. It's a lot to digest, I know.
In full disclosure, when we didn't have the meeting last Monday because of the quorum, Mr. DeAndrea called me up. I ended up going out there at, what, 6:40. Jason Harris was out there as well, and we walked the property with Vinny and his son we were out there for probably close to an hour. And I think he wasn't fully grasping certain regulations for stuff that was already approved as they pertain to the area near the Reed's house, which is a BBW, not pond, so there's different regulations. So that's why I think it's a good idea we let his attorney see everything, so they're not blindsided when they come to the next board,
They'll
to
have
the
an
meeting.
opportunity to review everything.
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
There's literally, I measured a foot tall amount of documentation in our
That's
files
crazy.
that I went through.
Excuse me.
And I guess we can talk about our site walk.
Which one?
Gene and I went there to
Oh,
26 Island.
Yeah, the Reeds were kind enough to let you go onto their property.
They were very kind. Also, go ahead, Lynn, you can start off, because I saw your report, which was good.
Oh, yeah, I sent a report about it. I know, is that something that we want to talk about now since we're already talking?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Okay, so you want to start off?
No, you go ahead, because yours was very thorough, and I only had a couple of things to add, that was it.
Oh, okay. Right, so this is going to be off the top of my head because I don't have,
You didn't make a timeline for it.
I wrote an email with my thoughts. I just didn't happen.
Did you email it to me?
You did, I did, and you
Okay,
gave
so
it
it should
to
probably be in
us.
here.
Oh, I got it right here.
and,
Oh, you got it?
We all have it.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay.
Lynn, do you want to?
totally. Yeah, thank you. I knew you had printed it out. Okay, so I just want to make sure. Okay, so we went there on Thursday, the 18th,
Yep.
around 5 PM. We met with Mrs. Reed. We had the report of the enforcement order, and the property, when you're facing the home, you can see 1212 Bedford Street is to your left. And from what I can see is there is an intermittent stream that's coming from a pipe that goes underneath from Highland Avenue. It goes like
Down,
this,
around.
comes this way, and then it gets blocked by fill. They have some Jersey barriers up, and there was a stone wall that was, I think, where that Jersey barrier was. Stones just knocked down to the stream. Mrs. Reed said that happened and never been put back.
It was underwater when I went out there.
Yeah. She had mentioned there was a well, I think in that section, 40 feet deep. There's still water that goes, 2 feet or so over the well? 170 feet deep.
Right, and they don't have access to get to it because it's underwater right now. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
How much water is there, because it hasn't rained in a couple of days, how much water is still in that corner of the property? Ballpark.
Do you want to?
Couple of feet. It slowly does go away, but it is beyond the Jersey barriers. There's a puddle on top of his property, and the reason is because the water is going to that retention ditch that's over there, where it's supposed to go in the first place,
Yeah,
where it used to go.
right.
There's a lot of things that the retention ditch used to be a lot bigger. It's not anymore because he filled it all in. Not even for the whole retention ditch.
Yeah, you just might want, you want to get in?
Yeah, can you come up to the?
Just introduce yourself at the microphone. Sorry.
I'm gonna get yelled at by my mom if people don't do things right. She watches these meetings intently.
She's the one.
Yeah.
Huh?
She's the one. huh?
No, my son does too, he's number 2.
Yeah.
Brian Reed, 26 Highland Road.
Elizabeth Reed, same address.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I know you said you have lots of paperwork, but we got more for you.
Okay,
Okay.
very nice.
Just putting everything last
Beautiful.
10, 11 years.
Oh, you wrote one up too.
Oh,
Lovely.
did you want to give
We'll
that to
compare
them?
notes. Oh, and you have pictures. Is the pictures
yes.
from the other day?
I think,
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of them are from the other day, some of
It's
them
from
are,
recent.
Okay.
You can have that, yeah.
there you go.
Yes. Definitely.
Oh, these are the ones you showed me last, some of them are the ones you showed me last week.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, when you're looking at all this, you can see there were two big piles of mulch. They were kind of on the corner of Highland and Bedford Street,
Yep.
which is outside of the 100-foot. But then there was one big pile right there, right behind the house, right up to that level.
And you
And
had some mulch delivered the day before, or the day you came, the day you came.
right,
And that was after the enforcement order was issued.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was
right
after
after.
the enforcement order was issued.
So that's an issue in itself. So when we walked up the property from the low point as we were going up, and we crossed into the chain link fenced area, and we stepped on the other side, aside from the water that comes from that pipe from Highland, from the storm drains, if you look straight up ahead, there was an intermittent stream coming down from behind the houses.
Through the neighborhood, yes.
Through the neighborhoods in the back, and I think I sent pictures to Nancy late this
You did.
afternoon.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned about seeing them right now, but I did
Are you
send.
sure?
Oh, you have them? She's so good.
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned that we're doing an in-depth discussion with him not,
Yeah.
Not
his
there,
attorney
okay.
not here.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if you just want to give us an update on the site walk,
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
against you, but he has a right to be here with
Yep.
his
Right.
attorney.
Yep.
And believe me, I'm not defending him, I'm just saying
He should
that
be here.
he should be here with
Yeah.
his attorney
Right.
if we
Yeah.
get too deep into
So
this.
his-
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll
I
just
have
keep
one
it to the
question. I
sidewalk.
realize you're the building inspector, but when you build a retaining wall, are you supposed to build it with a Jersey barriers?
Depends.
I mean, I was under the impression Jersey barriers weren't meant for a retaining wall, especially holding water back.
Well, I don't think they were intended or created to hold water back.
I'm pretty sure he intended it to. I disagree. I think he intended it to hold the water back. That's why he did it. I mean, in the past, at this same board meeting, your predecessors to this board asked him if I filled in that property,
On our side.
what would he do? If I filled in my property on his side, what would he do? And his answer to this board was, I will fill it in even higher. That's the attitude.
Well,
Yeah, again,
Question
we
two
shouldn't,
is-
we
is
shouldn't
wetlands.
hash this out until the
I
28th.
think
Okay.
we should review what you did
Yeah.
and the pictures here and everything, and then discuss it at the next
I
meeting.
mean, the only other thing I have to say is, some of those retaining wall Jersey barriers are actually on our property. Some of them are on the property line, and some of them are about a foot onto our property.
Right.
Well, then you would have a
That
right
he
to have
installed.
them removed.
The other thing I saw is there are several large containers right behind the Reed's property, which are on 1200 Bedford Street. And as we'll get into when Mr. DeAndrea and his lawyer is here, there's a big wetland that kind of goes into all three of these properties here. So 1200 Bedford Street is going to have to be brought in to this discussion at some point. And I'll discuss another thing about what's going on behind the daycare center at another time. I asked Mrs. Reed if any work had been performed since 2015, when DEP had issued a superseding determination of applicability, and you said that no work had been done until recently, basically.
he's out there spreading all the time, spreading the.
Okay, so in between 2015 and now, he'd still gone out there and done something?
Well, yeah,
Spreading?
recently
Okay.
put asphalt down.
Very recent.
Which is for the reason why we did the last enforcement order.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we will regroup. Again, everybody can look at the timeline for the next meeting. If anybody has any questions, we can pop it up on the screen. If not, we'll bring it back for a discussion on the 28th with Mr. DeAndrea and his attorney.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Reed, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Just didn't want to get into it, just to answer your question.
Can, Mr. Reed or Mrs. Reed, can I keep this to make
Yes.
copies for everybody?
Thank you.
I'll do it after the meeting. All right. All right, next up, update on complaint from DEP located at 267 North Quincy Street. So I spoke to Victor Simino Jr. Last Thursday, and he's looking to set up a site walk for next week. So I guess we need to figure out what time Monday through Friday works best for everybody.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think I'll be able to attend based on the fact that I'm still under the doctor's care for my knee.
Okay.
I can't be hobbling on it too much.
I can try to make most times work.
He's looking to do it sometime between like 9 and 2, so I'm probably not gonna be able to make it.
About 12 noon?
12 noon?
Jason's going, isn't he? Jason.
He gave Conservation Commission permission. He said, he left some wiggle room, so we'd have to ask him, but I don't see why he wouldn't let Jason on the property since he does visits out there.
Lynn, if you did a noon walk, I could go.
You can go
probably.
on noon?
Yep.
Okay.
How about you, Alex?
Yeah, I could do it
A noon?
almost any day next week.
I'm so mad, I wanted to go so bad.
Oh, wait, this is we're talking the 6th through the,
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
If you guys can't do it till the following week.
I could do the 6th or the 7th. Monday or Tuesday next week.
Trying to think.
Want to do
I
the
have a
following
meeting, I want to say, I think the 6th would work.
I can do the 6th as well.
Want to say noon on the 6th?
I can make it. Are you able to?
When
I
can you
think
do
so.
it, Alex?
Noon on Monday, the 6th.
I think I have a meeting, it's either 7th or 10th.
You never know.
I can't remember, I have to go look at my
We'll
work
meet
calendar
right
again.
at the, what's that, the red trailer?
Yeah, he said to me right out the front of his property, and then he'll guide us back to the area we're talking about.
Front of the property, is that near the house that's close to the road, which was Denny West's house, I guess?
Let me look at the email.
And then they got the trailers in the back there?
No, I know,
Nope.
I know.
So he's asking to do it on May 8th or May 9th, I'm sorry.
I can't do it on the 8th and 9th.
Oh,
How about the following week?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to schedule for the following week?
Okay,
Just
let's look at
don't,
the
I wouldn't do it on
following.
Tuesday, we have our own meeting.
Can't do the 8th or the 9th, so we'll have to maybe do it the following week I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
As far as
So,
I know, I'm okay.
so from May 13, 14, 15, whatever, which day is best for
Well,
everybody?
I'm just wondering, why don't you do like the 15th or 16th?
I can't do it either of those days. I can't do anything for a while after the 14th. Lisa's having hip replaced.
Oh,
Can we do the
So,
13th?
On the 14th.
no, when's she having her surgery?
On the 14th,
How about Monday the 13th?
Let's shoot for that then,
yeah.
Monday the 13th.
12 o'clock?
Yes.
Monday the 13th, noon. May, 267.
So what he's saying is, he will personally meet the commission members in the front parking area near his office and lead them to the site that requires inspection.
All right.
And so, he's gonna have an excavator out there, so,
What is that gonna do? I thought we were just
It's going to
walking.
bury us.
no, we wanna see if there's hydric soil.
Well, we don't have a wetland scientist to tell us.
So we get the soil from the test pits, and basically, either we bring them to somebody or he brings them to somebody. I mean, we should ask DEP if they want to analyze it since they made the complaint.
We don't really have a assigned circuit rider yet, do we?
No.
So, I mean.
There has to be somebody.
I understand, but
We can talk to DEP and see if
Yeah.
they're able to do it, but otherwise.
yeah, see what they.
I've never done test pit. I don't know how to analyze that data. Environmental scientist, wetland scientist would know what they're doing.
So basically what you do is you find, like I said, if it's say the area in question's a rectangle, what you do is pick a spot in all four corners, there's maybe 1 or 2 spots in the middle, dig down until either you hit refusal, i.e. ledge, groundwater, whatever it is, and you look at the soil.
But we don't
We're
have.
not, I know we're not wetland scientists, but we've all taken, not all of us, but some of us have taken classes with Andrew. We know what roughly we're looking for.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Paul, but I mean, to get a true idea of what the soil is, I mean, you need your 2 pages from the Munsell chart for this area
That's what
to
I'm
be.
saying, we save the soil from certain locations.
I mean, you know, you're gonna have to know the longitude, latitude of, I mean, we don't even know if the Mass Mapper outline is correct and how big of an area that covers.
You know what, I can call Whitney at DEP and just ask her for her suggestion of what to do.
Mhm.
Like, do you guys have a recommendation for how we would carry this out? What would we do? We're not wetland scientists. Is there, my concern is that there's something special that we have to take care of that a wetland scientist would know about, who's done this in the past, that we're not thinking of because we've never done it
Because
before.
all we get from DEP is a picture and said, this area on Mass Mapper is where.
Yeah, but I just want to know if they have recommendations for protocols for
Mhm.
how to handle situations like this. And then also, can we save samples? Could you guys look at that, or do we need to have peer review and have somebody look at that data?
I know you can do it because I've done it in the past. Different region, but I've done it.
All right, well, I'll just call Whitney.
Do we have a scientist who could come with us, like someone that we?
We can't pay for that.
Okay.
It'd be nice if DEP would do like Andrew's done in the past, come out and do it.
Right.
But
Okay.
we don't know if they've,
We can't make the property owner pay to have proper samples done? Or
we
can't?
can, but I wouldn't do it unless we know,
We
without
can't.
seeing it first.
Okay.
Then we might get to the point where he says, you know what, I'm not gonna let you on the property, and then we're in court.
If someone from DEP could go, that would, I mean, it was them that sent us
Right.
this, so, yeah.
But unfortunately, we haven't been assigned a circuit rider yet, and it's just the position has not been
We
filled.
don't know that.
Well, at last conversation, they hadn't really designated anyone for our area. It's whoever answers the phone. So,
A couple of weeks ago, I called and they didn't have anybody yet. One of the concerns was when I asked her a question about something, and she said, we don't have a lot of people right now. But I think if we said we really, really need you,
yeah.
maybe they'd be able to get somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if we tell them we have a date that will be allowed on the property, maybe that
Might,
will inspire them to find someone for us.
I think perhaps, maybe.
And if we have to push it off another week to get somebody
Mhm.
to come out there, then we do that.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Victor would be amenable to that. If he's not gonna have to pay for a wetland scientist to come out and confirm
Mhm.
soils or not. And he might want to do that anyways, based on what our person says.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. so
Having fun yet, Nancy?
Pardon?
Having fun yet?
It's like deja vu, isn't it?
It's all coming
It's
back.
coming back, isn't it?
Deja vu.
All 30 years.
Yeah, more than 30 now.
Okay.
All right, any more discussion on North Quincy Street?
No.
All right, moving on, vote to ratify enforcement order on 225 Brockton Ave. Jason, do you want to just get up, because you've seen the site, just to give us a rundown on that?
All right, so basically where we're at with the 225 Brockton Ave is they've started the process of removing all the equipment, Connex boxes, illegal structures. The electricity was running from the primary structure to the building. We had that cut off. NatGrid came in and made it so that can't happen again.
Thank you.
It looks like they have remnants of just one of the structures that they had built there. I can't get too close to there to see exactly what's left to take an inventory for you. But we had plans to go down there tomorrow to see, if we have the permission to go on there and take a look. The property owner seems pretty willing to work with us. I think he's gonna be down there tomorrow, so he said, give me a call and then let me on the property. But basically, the tenant never really had permission to be on the property. How it began was, he was asked to do some snow plowing in the wintertime, and he was asked to do a couple of small jobs on the property. And the property owner is not on site, he lives some states away. And when I called him, he had no idea that that was even going on there, so there's there's no communication going on there. We immediately issued enforcement orders on them to stop. They weren't a registered business, they didn't have approval to be there, no authorization, and then also we realized that they were pretty close to conservation protected land there, so.
Yeah.
We issued an immediate order, and he stopped the business operations on the property, but the equipment remained on site, so we went again back after the owner, issued additional enforcement orders, and then they began the process of removing everything. So everything's stopped there now, it's stable, but they still need to do a little bit of cleanup. And then I'm hoping to get on there with both myself and you folks.
Did they remove trees or anything, or was that area clear?
It was clear.
It was
That
clear.
area's been clear for a long time. We had issues years ago when I was on the board,
Yeah,
when someone attempted to do the exact same thing.
yeah, because, I'm looking at Mass Mapper, and I printed out the picture,
Yeah.
and I see that we have a perennial river there.
Yeah.
Stream River runs through there, so there's a 200-foot riverfront protection,
Correct.
as well as the wetlands and the bog that's out there, so.
So I'm not sure if the previous owners ever filed anything on that or not.
There's nothing in the file,
There's nothing.
so we immediately went right after him. And like I said, the property owner is really good, and again, he didn't know anything about this, so.
Yeah, he's out of state, how would he
Yeah,
know?
but he's here now to help mitigate the issue.
So do we want to do an enforcement order, or do we want to go out there and view the
If
site
he's
first?
He's got active enforcement orders already.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
I
got
don't think there's a
3.
need for
And I
us.
guess the
Total.
thing is, if there are wetlands, buffers that are destroyed, damaged, whatever,
That
I'll
would
ask
be-
you, Alex, because you were on the board for a long time before. Is there a way that you can issue the enforcement order to the party that did the damage instead of the property owner?
It's the property
It's got to be,
owner.
and then they have to,
Because it's ultimately the property owner that's
Responsible,
responsible to
yeah.
restore it.
And unfortunately, there's no
That's what the
signed lease, there's no documentation, so go after who?
yep.
It's funny, because when I was going through the whole thing for 1212 Bedford Street, one of the items on the agenda was for 225 Brockton.
Right.
They were withdrawing a request for, I guess, extending a parking lot or something. And,
Yes, that's what they wanted to do
Is it-
years
yeah.
ago, extend the parking lot for the used cars back there, I think.
yeah. And they
Part of
withdrew
their-
it for some reason.
Right,
Yeah,
because it wasn't doable.
yeah, yeah.
Part of their used car license approval was based on our enforcement that they would remove that tenant too. So he's only had a certain amount of time to get that mitigated. And so he's lived up to that, but still a little bit of work to go. Massive process to get all that out of there, I imagine.
I'm sure.
But making good progress. And hopefully they look like they're doing a little bit of damage to, the perimeter fencing and things like that. I think they're just upset and trying to leave. Hopefully he doesn't not take that structure down. But it seems to be something that might fall down on its own. Single story, 8 feet tall, like a little shed.
So how close were these structures to the river?
We don't know.
It's not delineated or
It's
anything like
not,
that.
we
so-
wouldn't know, so this is just roughly from Mass Mapper, so here's 225. I didn't do the overlay of the actual imagery.
Yeah.
but the images are right here, so his stream river, so you get, that was 130 some odd feet right there. There's a wetland right there, so, I mean, it clearly,
So you're going out there tomorrow?
I am, yeah.
Is there any way you can see when a good time for us to do a site walk would be out
I
there?
had
Reach
planned
out
on
to me
that.
or reach out to Nancy and,
I'm gonna try to negotiate that so that I'm there as well too,
okay.
good.
that we can all get in there.
Oh, when you were out of the room, we're gonna try and negotiate to get you to come out with us to North Quincy
Yeah.
Street.
Sounds good.
I'll hand this to you because I won't be going.
Folks have any more questions for me, or are you good?
That's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you.
On that, yeah. I
Very
do-
busy out there.
I have a
Yes.
question for you later.
All right, next up, complaints. That's a new category.
I like it.
We need it, apparently.
First one is activity at 1426 Bedford Street, so that's a little bit further up the street from Vinnie's property on the same side of the road. There's a letter in your packets
Oh, goodness.
dated April 11th.
I think I
Land
lost,
problem?
I lost my thing.
Yep, that's the one, Justin.
That's right. I think I must have it here. It's gonna be better. 1426.
Jason, you know anything about this one?
1426 Bedford.
Come sit down at the table.
Join
Pull up
us.
a chair.
1426 Bedford Street. I think that's the property just before the Pool Place, Christmas Place.
Not familiar with that one. The last, before that,
Is that where Whitman Auto Body?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Down
behind
back?
1410, the structure we had taken down,
Yeah, down in that.
so the auto body and the shipyard and all that, okay, yeah.
So what's going on here?
I can't find.
They're cutting down trees.
Cutting down trees, removing buffer from Route 18 and getting way more light shining through. I guess there was a resident on, was it Vineyard Road that made a complaint?
I don't know.
So we should probably go out there and do a site walk as well and see if there's any, if you go on Mass Mapper, it
Yep.
looks like they've encroached on maybe even wetlands.
Yeah.
So we should probably get out there and do a site walk and see what's going on there as well.
Okay.
You guys are gonna have fun when I'm gone.
Okay. So we'll get an image of Mass Mapper and check it out.
Paul, have you been on that property as of yet, at
I
all?
have not.
No? Okay.
Like I said, I've seen it from Mass Mapper, and I know it looks like they're, I think that's when it looked like they even maybe went into
Yeah.
town property.
Yeah, that's right.
Pushing back.
So that's it there. Is this Newman's
Freshly cleared right
property?
here, too.
I don't think
No,
so.
it's, I think it abuts it.
Yeah, no, because
This is where
this,
we took the structure down.
this Mike Noonan's right there.
This looks freshly cleared, too.
Oh,
So
I
it's gonna
see,
be
yeah.
up here.
You know what I mean?
So this is
It's on Vineyard Road, complaining about.
across from,
Well, that's up here. But
This
it
is
is,
Vineyard here.
oh, sorry.
Bobby
Oh, I
Ryan's
don't know.
place. Yeah,
So it must be
elevated
the-
routes.
right, yeah.
I know
That's
there's new
elevated
people
routes
that just
here.
bought a house in there, so if
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
maybe it's right here.
maybe.
Yeah.
But
So that's that landscaper there.
Well, it's mixed. You've got auto body, some mechanics in there, some storage, open parking, excuse me.
No, that's, that would be Newman's.
No, his
No, it's
Mike,
next
it's
to-
Mike's.
I know it's next to his property.
I
There's
think
bays
it's up
all
here.
through here. You do the annual inspection.
Dina Talley Landscaping, I think
Yeah.
that's the one?
Yeah,
Or
that's
Mike,
that's what I'm saying.
But if somebody on Vineyard Road complained, then wouldn't it be one of the properties that abuts Vineyard Road?
I don't know. Are
think
they
it
going in-
does.
Are they going
Well,
in
it-
right
That's
here?
backwards, you're right.
Yeah.
Depends on
Yeah,
how
that's
far
a
they're
landscape
going
here.
in.
Right,
If
if they
their
go
house
in,
is there, then
if they're
This
going
is
in
the-
this
If
Yeah,
way.
they're
they can
clearing
see.
stuff all
Right.
out here, that would be,
I'm looking at this backwards.
that'd be bad.
You're right.
Yeah, so this doesn't abut Vineyard Road.
No, they just made the complaint. I think they were here in equipment.
Okay.
I imagine if you're on Vineyard
I mean, it's highway commercial.
and
it's
your
gonna be
house
there.
is, I don't know, backyard's facing it and you're noticing,
Yeah,
wait a
so
minute,
this
there's
is,
trees down there,
Are they
cut
worried that they're
down.
taking up the buffer of sound?
Then,
I mean, obviously, they're digging in there.
Yeah, this is terrible.
And that's all wet.
Oh, it's on the, look at the, shows who made the complaint. If you go to the second page, shows you.
Yep.
So there's a green dot on Vineyard Road. That property made the complaint
Oh,
about the
all right, I
area
see it.
in the yellow.
Oh, okay, so it's directly behind them as the crow flies.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. Helm Street.
Yes, so they're abiding that, wherever they
Oh,
are
no,
there.
this is Helm Street here. So that's Beaver Lane, right?
Harris Court.
No, that Beaver Lane is on, yeah, that could.
The
that's
big green
Harris.
dot right there, yeah.
So just.
Yep. So right here, going.
And from when I looked at Mass Mapper, they definitely had been encroaching into the
Further
wetlands
back,
themselves.
back,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, look at this one. There's the property line right there, look at this.
Yeah.
It's like, what's this in here? I don't know.
So I think we should find out who the property owner is and schedule a site walk back there.
And what about the one next to it?
There hasn't been a complaint about that one yet.
Yeah, but we could be.
You can see it from when you're out there.
Okay.
And do you know what, is that a paper road in between 1426 and 1428? Or what is,
I don't think so.
No.
Helm Street does,
Helm Street's over here, right?
yeah, but it, there is another part of Helm Street
Right,
that isn't usable, I think.
but see where the property is here in question? And then there's another property and there's a little strip in there. Is that some sort of road in there? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is Helm Street, and I think in theory it connects like this.
That's odd.
I'm not positive, but that's Helm Street there.
oh, it's called, no, it says, if you look on Google Earth, it's called Finney Street.
Finney?
What is it?
Phinney.
Street.
Is that,
So it's,
I can check with the assessor's
Yeah.
office and let you know tomorrow.
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound familiar for
Yeah.
Abington.
yeah.
It's not Helm Street, though. See that person? Yeah.
Google doesn't seem to know it exists.
Yeah, I have Google, actually.
All right, so I guess we'll get the property owner's information and see if we can set up, well, when we can set up a site walk over there too.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And I'll throw some eyes on that, but I just
I'll get
wanted
it
to
for you when you
pinpoint
mail
what it
it.
is.
All right.
This is two, so you have the streets.
Next,
Next
You beat me to
complaint.
That's what I'm gonna do.
2030 Kimber Circle.
That's my job.
Just wanna make sure I get the right place when I do it.
Lynn's mother's gonna complain to me now. All right, next complaint, activity at 20 and 30 Kimber Circle. And you guys, everybody has an email about that as well. Jason knows about this because
There's so many
he
of these.
signed this one.
Okay.
Oh, and you got my message from yesterday.
I did.
Yeah.
I left it in my packet downstairs.
Oh.
So.
And when I looked at this, there were wetlands on the property, right? But they were kind of far in the back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, the Perrys, yeah, that was the name.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if it's an issue with stormwater, does planning board, have they been informed on this? because they handle stormwater.
I think there was there a small BBW?
I think it's in the back of the property.
It's at the back. It's like a really long
Yeah.
property, and then at the back, there's wetlands, so I don't know exactly where what was happening.
Yep.
So what we can do is reach out to the person or the property owner that made the complaint, see if we can get out on their property and they can show us what the issue is without going on the other property.
So,
Would this only have to do with us, though, if there's?
Yeah, that's what I was.
I can kind of give you a brief
Conservation.
description if you like.
Yeah.
Go
Could
for
you?
it.
So we get a call in the office from a property owner that their next door neighbor was essentially taking their stormwater coming from their gutters, traveling through storm drain, through their property, across their property and into wetlands. So I looked it up on Mass Mapper, confirmed that it was wet there, and was able to identify a 6-inch corrugated line that was collecting the rainwater and shooting it straight through, and flooding out the back area of their property. And we issued the order for them to cease, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is a conservation issue. Someone should pull the file, because this whole subdivision came before conservation years ago, and they've always had a drainage problem there. The neighbors have always been fighting over this. But as a matter of fact, Crowley had to go back in there and fix them. But I'm not sure this is actually a conservation issue. It may be more of, it's a drainage issue, but I don't. Stormwater. Yeah, stormwater, I don't, without looking at the
Yeah, we don't handle
subdivision plan.
stormwater.
well, no, we
Yeah.
don't, but at the same token, I mean, if it's coming from somebody's drain from their house and they're running it across somebody's property, how did conservation not get a hold of that back in the day? I mean,
Well, because planning board
designed it?
approves the drainage system.
When were these houses built, do we know?
Nancy, when were these built? Paul Crowley did it,
It's
you
in
remember?
the.
Early 2000 probably, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, it's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this Matt Mapper?
This is what,
In your
2001.
packets, is
No,
that-
2009. It says
2009.
effective year built
Okay,
is
late
2009, year built 2001. I'm not sure what the difference is, but.
In your packet, is that from Mass
So we need to
Mapper?
look at the subdivision plan.
Yeah, I don't know if that's in here.
I'd also be curious to look at the conservation meetings from back then. I think they're at the library, I can look them up. Just to see if it was ever discussed, because, I mean, I can't believe that somebody would want to drain across somebody else's property. I don't know.
Well, that-
Especially
that's
above
something
ground?
They're doing now. It's not something that was done.
Oh, they're doing it
Prior.
now.
Yeah,
Well, but
yeah,
still,
no, it wasn't built that way.
Yeah.
No,
you can't do that.
no, but I
That's why
remember
there's a
Crowley
complaint.
got some complaints in there, and I went out there with him, and he did put some pipes in for some people, but
So
like I
Jason,
said,
you
without
told
looking
them,
at the subdivision, we don't know if it's in our jurisdiction or not.
you told them
Yeah.
to take out whatever they put in?
Correct.
So has that been done, or
As of yet, I don't know. That was only, the end of last week, so.
are you
We
planning
did get
to
contact in the
follow up?
office that they were going to follow up with it,
Okay.
try
so
to
I don't-
rectify it. And I
just-
told them if they had any questions, obviously, to give us a call, and I'll take a swing by there. We followed up with the original complainants, the property owners.
So can
Let
you
them
shoot
know.
me an email before our next meeting and say
Sure.
it's been done and,
Yeah,
okay.
You want this, you send this.
yeah, if you don't mind.
All
Thanks.
right, maybe last complaint, cutting trees, 155 Birch Street. So I took a ride, this popped up about 2 weeks ago. One of the property owners over there cut down some trees, there's a paper road, it looks like you cut down trees within that paper road. Outside of our, it appears to be outside of our buffer zone or wetlands.
I'm sorry. Okay, got it.
But
I'm ready to kill this one.
the area over there is very wet.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else drove by there or saw saw the trees that are cut down.
No.
I don't know if they're still laying down or not, but,
I was there with Jason.
oh, that's right, I'm sorry, you did go over there.
We're all over the place.
Yep.
Do you wanna talk about it now, or you wanna wait till site visits?
I'll let Jason talk about it because he was there before me, so.
So on that one, we get a call that there was some tree clearing going on. I responded over there to see the trees on the ground. They have done some fresh cutting there. I spoke to the gentleman who claimed to have owned that piece of property, his mom. Was it his mom?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And she had said that they were currently in court, and there were orders for them not to do any work on the property there.
Yeah.
And in fact, he violated that, so they immediately went into court, got an emergency injunction, issued another order. So on top of our enforcement order and the judge's order, he stopped. It's still as is condition now, and nothing's been touched. I've done a couple of site visits in the interim, and I don't see anything further that's been done. I haven't been on the property, I can't see back there. I can see it's flagged where they were potentially deciding to go farther, and it's right near some area that I believe is wet too, so.
It is very wet out
Yeah.
back behind there.
But again, I haven't been on the property, so.
I haven't either, but I think it came up in another meeting a few months back.
This property.
And there's some correspondence that you guys will see after that,
Right.
about this property, so.
Yeah.
Where, so it was on this property?
Yep.
It was paper road connected to somebody else?
Yeah, Birch
I don't
Street,
know.
there's two houses, and I guess way back in the 60s or something.
In the back of this area, it would be on the south side of Birch Street. There have been some proposals over the years to do some condos, and then the current owner, which I believe was denied by zoning, if it ever went or withdrawn, I'm not sure, but it went to
I can
zoning.
get it if you need
And
it.
it never happened, so then somebody bought it and went back, what, last year was it?
I think so, it was
To-
last year.
Yes,
To
yeah.
zoning,
Yep.
and tried to get it approved, and it was denied.
Mhm.
And
Because there were some other legal issues over that paper road thing,
right,
right,
so apparently he's back there trying to clear the paper road.
right.
Also, this,
But the paper road up at that, where he's clearing it is not, I don't believe it's within our jurisdiction.
It's not.
No, it didn't look like it.
Yeah, but it goes much further back than it definitely is.
Yeah, and he's just trying to access the property in the
Right.
back.
Yeah,
Because on the back side of that is the rail trail,
right,
and it's kind of landlocked in
Yeah.
there.
exactly.
So we went out there before. Can you like draw me a little map?
Oh, no, we didn't go out there, you're thinking of the
We
other
can-
property.
Oh, the other
There-
property.
There's no issues with wetlands right now with what's been done.
Right.
Yeah.
You can look at the correspondence, there's stuff about the rest of the property in there.
Okay.
we do have active enforcement for unregistered vehicles parked in the property. However, they can't be removed now because they're tied up in court with the emergency injunction. So as soon as that's lifted, they're going to move the vehicles. And that seems to be the farthest near what would be the wet area back there, past the
Okay.
trees. There's like a camper
Yeah,
and a couple other vehicles back there that are going to be moved.
okay.
But judges ordered no actions or activity on the property, so that included. But they do have an active zoning enforcement to remove those.
All right, that's it for complaints, unless anybody else has any more. So we've already talked about, oh, you got something, Nancy?
No, what is the condition though before everybody
Yep.
leaves?
26 Highland Road, we talked about that, site visit, 225 Brockton Ave, we're gonna set one up for that. 155 Birch Street, we talked about that one. So next is correspondence. There's stuff in here about 155 Birch Street, planning board meeting on May 6th. There's also something in here about planning board meeting for May 6th for 3-lot subdivision at 4454 Linwood Street. We did an ANRAD for that 2.5 years ago. What else do we have?
You say 155 Birch is the planning?
They're going to planning on May
May
6th.
6th.
Yep.
As well as 4454?
Yep. Then other correspondence and stuff we already talked about, 225 Brockton Ave, 267 North Quincy. And that's it. So if you guys want to take a look at that, that way if you have any comments, you can get them to Liz before the meeting, Liz Shea before the meeting.
Okay. Are they looking to us to comment, or is this just something we're
They
giving
said-
them?
I mean, we should, I mean,
Right,
that way if we see any issues, they can be addressed before they approve something, they come to us and they have to change it.
yeah, because I think I did that the last time, and she told me that she knew they were coming before conservation. so I said,
It might have changed though.
That's true, that's true. Okay. All right.
All right, there's no meeting minutes to approve, so next up, we will do order conditions for 10 McHugh Circle. And before everybody leaves, make sure we sign this. I forgot to get everybody's signatures the last time.
Yeah, I did that too with one.
All right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Yep.
A1, what do you want to put for a work line? 25 feet? No disturb line?
Yes.
All right, A1, 25 feet. A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, B1, load basin, B6, nothing for flood control. Nothing for D, nothing for E, nothing for F. G will be G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, as shown on plans. I know they show the stockpile area.
Yeah.
You wanna, you wanna just write it like that, or you want me to scale it off the plans, Nancy?
Pardon?
Do you want me to scale it off the plans, or you want to just put as shown on plans? Okay. G6, G7, H2, H4, H5, H6, it will be B, C, D, F, and G. H7 will be C,
C.
just C, yep.
Okay.
H8, H9, I1, I2, A, B, C, and that's it for that. And they already show the signs. Well, anybody else have any special conditions?
Oh, you already have to sign the
They already show the
jacket?
signs on the plan, yeah.
Signs are on the plan.
I did see them, but I just,
Yep.
last time we talked about plans, and we didn't put it in the condition. We had to call.
Yeah.
Anybody
I
else
like
have
the
any other
double check.
specials, or if not, somebody can make a motion to approve the orders.
Oh, never mind, no, I think everything was covered.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve? Oh, let's see, number.
Make a motion to approve the order of conditions for SEO 84573 for 10 McHugh Circle.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was